So hello and welcome back, folks. This is week 3 of our Angular Live course, and Kritika is already very excited for learning Angular today. And today we have a lot to cover, and I'll just brief you on what we'll cover today and what will be the end result. So in today's live session, we'll be using services. Basically, we'll be communicating between a service and a component, and I'll show you how to do that and what's the importance of using service. Then we'll be diving into Angular material lists. So if you don't know already, in this course I said we'll be using Angular material, and in this live video I'll show you how to use Angular material list in a great way. Then we'll also dive into pipes. So Angular pipes are Angular has great utility tools called pipes, and you can either create your own or you can use the ones that they have provided us, and we'll get into that in detail a small while ago, a while later. And basically what I want to do is I just want to show you where we were last week. So this is where we were last week. We had coin of the day and we had crypto prices. This looks pretty ugly, to be honest. And by the end of this video, this is my goal. So I want to be able to show on the right hand side 10 cryptocurrencies. So I'll zoom in if you can't see it. 10 cryptocurrencies sorted by market cap. So as you can, if you go from top to bottom, the market cap will decrease. So Bitcoin has the highest market cap as of today. And I will be showing you the market cap, the price, the symbol. So like BTC, the full name, like Bitcoin, ETH is the symbol, Ethereum is the full name. We have the market cap below that. And in the end, we also have the today's price. And you might have already noticed, if it's in green color, it has a 24-hour profit. If it's in red, it has a 24-hour loss. So we have a lot to cover today. And you can see we will be going from this website, which has nothing but just blocks made by Bootstrap, to this. Now, before we get into the details, I just want to share with you, if you are here for the first time, this is an Angular Live course where we'll be building an amazing website together. And I also have a GitHub page to this, and the link is already in the description down below. In this GitHub page, we'll be having branches. So for example, let's say you join this course at week 4, or maybe at the end of this course, you are a new member and you just want to focus on today's code, today's live video code, and not the final result. For you, what I've done is I've created different branches. So for example, the main branch will always have the latest, most updated code. But if you're watching week 3, 2 weeks from now, or week 4 or week 2, you will be able to directly jump on branches. So as you can see, I already have a week 3 branch. So if next week my main branch is updated and has new code, don't worry about it. Week 3 is there for you, where you can go back and see that code. Now, enough talking and let's start coding. So first of all, I'll remove this blue color. And if you don't remember, we use this just to show the blocks and how they're created. So the blue color is over here. Let me know if the font is small or too large. I'll adjust for you. So let's go. We have in the navigation component, we have 2 components, app coin of the day and app crypto prices. So let's just remove the background info color. So this is basically the background color that is involved because of Bootstrap in our website. So if I refresh my website now, this should go away, as you can see. I also think that this should be a little smaller in size, this block. So I'll make it call LD4 and the other one has to be LD5, because if you remember, Bootstrap has 12, let's say 12 columns, and we can divide our screen into 12 different blocks. So the first block is taking 5 spaces out of 12 and the second one is taking 7 spaces out of 12. So the end result should be equal to 12. So 5, 7, 6, 6, 4, 8, etc. You get the idea. So okay, the size is adjusted. Now let's first dive into basically creating a list. So for that, what I'll do is I'll go into my crypto prices component, because as you can see, this is crypto prices. And in this component, I'll just remove this just to make sure that we are in the right place if it's actually making some effect on our website. Once I do that, this should refresh soon and we will see that it's an empty slate, a blank slate. That's great. Now, Angular material has a possibility of using lists. And how do I know that? Because I read documentation, and I would suggest you to do the same. So Angular material list, you just have to write that, and this should take you to the right place. Also, you can go to the material website directly and search for components. But because I knew I'll be using list anyway, so I don't really have to search as much as you might have to if you're new to this. In the end, you can see we have amazing lists like this. This is a basic list. We have mat list, and then we have list items. Okay, looks good. So basically, it looks like this is our basic list item, and this is the main list, which should contain all the list items. Okay, that's pretty clear. You can read more into the documentation if you want to know the nitty gritties, but I'll just go over the main fundamentals of using this list. Then we have navigation list. Now, navigation lists are usually used when you want to click on the list and you want it to take you to another page. And we'll be using navigation list because if you remember, I want to show the list of 10 cryptos, but in the end, I also want to be able to click on any one value, which will take you to another page, and there will be a chart of its historical data. But we won't be doing that today. However, because we know that's where we are going, so I'll be using mat nav list instead of regular list. Then we have action list, we have selection list where you can select multiple things. We have multi-line list in which you can have multiple contents in the same line. We have list with icons, with avatars. So we have a lot of stuff. We don't really need to go into all of them, but just so you know, we have a lot of things we can do with lists and any other component that Angular material provides. Moreover, if I go into examples, you will see that they have more examples. For example, this has a icon on the left. This list is divided into two sublists, as you can see, folders and notes. And it is also multi-lined. If you notice, we have the main kitchen remodel, and then we also have the date. So this is a multi-line list. We have the selection one. So if I select multiple things, you can see option selected equals 3. We also have single selection. So if I select anything, this would show below. If I select clogs, it shows clogs. If I select loafers, it shows loafers. So that's pretty clear. Now let's actually start using this. Let's actually dive into the code, and let me just show you how simple it is to use this. So as we saw, we have to use mat list. Okay, that's pretty good. But does it bring any difference? No, our website still looks the same. And the reason for that is, maybe you guessed it already, because we don't have any list item. So let's bring that. So let's say I want to bring mat list item. Okay, what do I want inside this? Let's make it a multi-line list, because if you see this picture over here, the screenshot, I have the price, I have the name of the currency, the price, and on the right-hand side, I have the current price. On the left-hand side, I have the market cap. So we have a lot of things to display in a single list item. So let's see how we can do that. So first of all, what I'll do is I'll create a heading. Maybe H3 should be fine. And I'll just say, well, BTC, sorry, Bitcoin. And over here, I'll say BTC, which is the symbol. Let's see how it looks. Okay, so I have a list item. I have Bitcoin. It doesn't really look like it doesn't really look like a list right now because I just have one item, but let's roll with it, and this will get better. And because we want multi-line list, I also have to say that this is one line out of many that I'm going to have eventually. Also, I can add a paragraph, and paragraph would basically just have the market cap, which I want to be below this price. So let's say I'll just enter a random value. Okay, so I have 2 lines now. That looks good. Obviously, we'll do much better later, but at least the fundamentals look good now. I also want to show the current price. So for that, what I'll do is just add the price. I think it's around 43,000 today. It might be different, but you get the idea. So we have the Bitcoin name, the market cap on the left, and on the right, we have the current price. I'll also add a small $sign over here, just so it actually looks like what we want. Okay, so my list item, my first item is ready. Now, if I just copy this and paste it again, there should be 2 different items in the list. Yeah, that's great. And as I said, I want mat nav list. I want navigation in the end. So I'll just create mat nav list from day 1. Okay, it looks good. Let's see how it looks on our website. Okay, so I already have 2 items. Obviously, they are same. They will be different eventually, but you get the idea. We have 2 items now. I also have this highlight when I hover my mouse over it because it is something to be clicked on. So now I have 2 list items with Bitcoin and its price, etc. So that's looking good. Obviously, this can be Ethereum, just so you know that this is a different cryptocurrency over here, which we eventually want to display 10 by market cap. So if you go back, and it should automatically refresh in a few seconds. So we have Ethereum, we have Bitcoin, we have the prices. It's looking good. What else do I want? I want to be able to show the color based on the type of whether it's a profit in 24 hours or loss, but we'll do that later. And just so you know, today we are using hard-coded data. And by the end of this video, we'll continue using hard-coded data. But eventually, by the end of this course, we would be using actual APIs and we'll be getting real-time data. So we won't really be hard coding anything in the end. But today we'll be using hard coded stuff just to get the idea, because we are not at that level that we can handle asynchronous programming. We first need to understand more Angular concepts. So we'll go there step by step, one step at a time. Okay, so this looks good. I have the list and everything. I just think I should add a divider between them because they just look like, if I don't hover, they look like a simple component. So I'll just add a small divider, like a line between them. It's my personal preference. Obviously, you can do whatever you like. So I'll just say mat divider. So mat divider basically adds a horizontal line. Let's see how it looks. Okay, so now it looks better. At least to me, it looks better now. I'll add one below this one as well. Okay, this looks pretty good. Now, if you remember the core fundamental of programming, the core fundamental of programming is that you should be using dry. So dry means don't repeat yourself. And we are repeating ourselves a lot. As you can see in our code, we are using the mat list item twice for basically displaying the same kind of information, just the text is different. So if I have some kind of an array, which I can go over, this should be pretty straightforward. But don't get overwhelmed. We'll do that step by step. But first, I'll introduce you to services. Now, according to Angular, services should be used for specific purposes. Services is a broad category. It can do anything. It can have a value, it can have a function, it can have a feature that an application needs. But eventually, services should do one thing, or maybe a few small things, and they should act like utility classes. For example, my component here needs an array of cryptocurrencies with the data that I want to display, like the market cap, the profit, loss in 24 hours, the name, the symbol, the actual price. So I want all these details, and I want 10 cryptocurrencies. So an array looks like a good choice for this, right? However, I might not be able to, I might be able to do this inside the component itself, but the component is responsible for just displaying my data and handling user actions. So my service should be the place where I should actually store some data and then pass that data to the component. So basically, we'll be communicating between a service and a component, and I'll show you how to do that. First of all, we need to create a service, right? So for that, Angular CLI has given us a very simple way to create a service in any folder we want. So I'll just show that to you right away. So the shortcut is nggs, which basically means ng generate service. I'll also add that in the comment so that everyone can see it. Then the service name or the path. So basically, I'll be saying nggs. This is a service that will help crypto prices component. So I'll just create it inside crypto prices. So this is the folder, and I'll name the service crypto prices as well. It should be fine. So I'll just display this to you in the chat. Okay, there we go. So this basically means, it might be on your screen already, it means nggs, ng generate service, and then the name of the service with the path. So if I click enter, this CLI will automatically create a service for me and a test file for the service in the right path that I need with all the constructors and initialization of the service. So once this is done, we'll be able to basically connect our service with the component. And let's see how to do that now. It went into the wrong folder, probably because I did not, I used backslash and I should have used /. So I'll just delete this and just create it again quickly. On Windows, we use backslash. On Mac, we use forward slash, and it can be really confusing sometimes. But no worries, Angular CLI to the rescue. We'll just take one more second, and this would be ready. So once this is done, we'll basically just create an array inside it, and we'll just pass that array of crypto prices and with its information to our component. So now it's done, and this time I'm not able to type it properly because I forgot a P over here. So I'll just move those files inside my crypto prices folder, and I'll just delete this empty folder. But you get the idea. If the typo wasn't there, it would be in the right folder already. Anyways, so all I want to do right now is I want to start using this service, right? That's why we created this service in the first place. So for that, I'll go in the constructor of my component, and I'll create private crypto prices service, and I also have to import it, right? I'll remove this. I don't need it anymore. This should go down, and I want to import crypto prices service. And that's it. Once this import is done, it might say that it doesn't know what crypto price service is because it's not imported. So all I need to do is import it. So as you can see, it is imported from our folder. And there you go. We have the crypto prices service directly inside this component. I'll just, sorry for that. I'll just rename this in the best possible manner. So crypto prices service, and we'll be using this service now. But before that, we also need to go inside the service and see what it contains. So right now it contains nothing. It just has a constructor, and it has just the definition of services like provided and etc. We don't need to go into the nitty-gritties right now, but all you need to understand is I will be creating an array, and I'll be basically creating a function by which we can access that array. So sounds pretty straightforward, but I'll just do that in front of you so that it's pretty clear. So I'll create a private variable, and I'll call it market data, which would be an array in the end. And for this array, I need 10 cryptocurrencies, and I've already created an array on my side. So I'll just copy that and paste it over here. Okay, so there you go. We have our 10 cryptocurrencies. It's looking pretty good. And let's see, what do we have here? We have the symbol, which I declared with S. We have the N, which means the name. We have P, which means the price. MC means the market cap, and PC means the percent change in 24 hours. So if the PC is positive, it means it should be green. It is a profit in the last 24 hours. If it's negative, like in Ethereum, it should show in a red color, which basically means a loss. Now that we have our array of market data, we also want to be able to access this, because if you remember, I created a private variable. So for that, what I'll do is I'll create a method which would be a getter. With the help of getters, we can access our data, and which would be market data. And just to define it, it will return it should be market data, not date. So I'll rectify that. Okay, so I have a getter. Eventually, I should also create a setter for best practices. So I'll just do that right away. Although I won't be using it today, but just to create it won't harm us. Okay, looks pretty good. So we have a getter, we have a setter, and basically we'll be accessing our market data with the help of this getter over here. So this should return us the market data array that we have created. So let's go inside our component, and let's just create a variable. So this would be a public variable. I don't really need to add public, but just to show you that a public variable can be accessed from anywhere, a private cannot be accessed from anywhere. So anyways, let's just create market data over here. It should be of type array, and it's an empty array right now. Okay, And after the component is initialized, so ng on init basically means that the initialization has been done. So after my component is initialized, I'll just zoom in it for you if in case it was a little too zoomed out. So I'll just say this dot market data equals this dot crypto prices service dot market data. So eventually what I'm expecting to happen here is, and it is saying that it's not the, now TypeScript is giving me an error. It's not really Angular, but actually TypeScript is saying that this, like you have not really defined any type. And if you don't know TypeScript, it might be a good place for me to explain you how types work. So as you can see in my array, we have S, we have N, we have P, we have MC, and we have PC. So why not actually use TypeScript over here? So I can say it's not just an array, it's an array of objects. And my object has a property S, which would be a string. My object has a property N, which would also be a string. My object has a property P, which would be a number because it's the price. We have MC, which is the market cap, which is also a number. We have PC, which is also a number. It's a percent change since last 24 hours. And I'll just format it properly. Okay, so there you go. I have an empty array. I have defined what kind of array it is. I have defined that this is an array of objects of this type. So that's pretty good. Now the error is gone. Let's see if it changes anything in our HTML. What do you think? Do you think we'll see any change? Well, you were right or wrong, but basically we won't see any change over here because we haven't really changed anything in our HTML file. So let's do that right now. So for that, what I'll do is I'll go to my component and I'll remove the second item because I just want to reuse the first one as much as I can. And I'll be using a for loop. Kritika asked a question over here before we create a for loop inside our HTML, which says, what's the difference between services and components? We could also create variables in components, right? Yes, this is a very good question, and I'm glad you asked it because services and components are usually confusing, especially when you are new to Angular. So a component is connected with an HTML page, a TypeScript page, and a CSS file. So component is basically kind of a building block of your website, which is responsible for displaying and managing user data and user actions, right? However, services are something that runs in the background. Services don't really interact with users. They don't really display anything. Services are just like helpers for our components. Now, the reason that we created and the reason that we added that variable in the service, yes, we could have done that in the component itself, but there's a disadvantage. Because if we just create that in the component, we won't be able to share it with different components. Let's say my website has hundreds of pages with thousands of components. And out of those 1,800 components need to use this market data. Now, I should not be accessing my component variables with other components because components just load when they're actually displayed. But services are loaded when the application starts. So just a recap, a component is loaded when it is being displayed in our web page. A service is loaded when our application starts. So all the services are already loaded. All the services have variables and data in them, and components will just pick the data that they need. So let's say we have 100 services and my component needs service 1 and service 79. It would just access those. And other component might need service 1 and service 50. Now, service 1 is being used with different components, but each component has an option to use that or not. So that was a basic fundamental difference between components and services. If it was not clear, just let me know. I'll go into more details. Going back over here, as I said, I don't want to repeat myself a lot, and I want to be using a for loop. So for that, what I'll do is I'll create ng-for. Now, ng-for is an Angular specific kind of template, which basically allows us to run a for loop inside our HTML template. And I want to say let crypto, because I'll be getting a crypto in the market data of market data. Now, what this basically means is the number of elements in my market data, I'm looping over it and I'm displaying this mat list item over and over till I loop over all the items. Let's see what it creates. Let's see what difference it creates in our actual component. So if I go here, you see that Bitcoin has been displayed 10 times. Now I'm confused over here, and let me know if you are confused as well. I am looping over my market data, but I'm only seeing Bitcoin. And do you have any ideas why is that? Because essentially I should see everything. If you remember, if I go and expand this variable, I have Bitcoin, but I also have Ethereum, then Tether, then Binance, then Cardano, then Cardona, sorry for that, Hex. We have Dogecoin to the moon. We have USD coin. We have a lot. But why are we just displaying the Bitcoin, right? There's something wrong. And what's wrong is, maybe you guessed it right, that we have hard coded our HTML. We are specifically writing that we just want to display BTC, Bitcoin, the price, the market cap, and we are not really using this array variable. So let's start using it. So for that, we need string interpolation. Kritika says it's clear now. Thanks. I'm glad it's clear. And now we'll be using string interpolation, which is this. Inside this, we can actually use variables in our Angular template. So I'll say crypto.n, which basically means crypto.name. Or actually, I should use crypto.s because I want the symbol over here, right? Yeah, that looks good. So I'll refresh my website and let's see what difference it makes. So once the refresh is complete, you can see we have Bitcoin, we have Ethereum, we have USDT, BNB, etc. But still, rest of the things are still hard-coded. So let's fix that right now. So for that, what I'll do is I'll go back to my HTML. I'll remove this Bitcoin hard-coded template, and I'll add crypto.n, which means crypto.name. Pretty good. I'll also add crypto.mc, which is for crypto.marketcap. And I'll also add over here crypto. What was left? Price, I guess. So now we have everything that we want to display. We have the price, we have the market cap, we have the symbol, and we have the name. Let's see how it looks. Once my application refreshes, you will see the actual difference, and you will see a lot of things that are now actually being displayed with our data that comes from the service. Why is it all blacked out? Do I have any errors? Probably not. I just need to restart my Angular. So sometimes what happens is whenever I make too much changes, sometimes my laptop can get overwhelmed, and for that I just have to restart my project by doing the ng-serve again. So that's pretty straightforward. It should not happen on your side. And so until this compiles and reruns, what I'll do is I'll also explain you what pipes are. Now, the next thing we'll be using is Angular pipes, and pipes are really powerful. Pipes are basically used to transform data. So you can imagine a pipe has an input, it has some kind of manipulation that we'll do with that input, and then it has an output, right? So Angular has different kind of pipes that it comes with. There are many pipes that Angular provides us, but we can also create custom ones. Today, we won't be using any custom pipe, but I just want to go through what pipes is, and we'll be using a cool pipe today, which would be very helpful especially for our project. So as you can see, it basically says that we transform data using pipes. We have date pipe, uppercase, lowercase, currency pipe, etc. And you might have guessed it already. What it means, what do we basically mean by pipe? And all these names are pretty straightforward. For example, date pipe will help us format a string to a date. Then we have uppercase pipe, which basically means that whenever I have passed anything, it would be converted to uppercase. We have a date pipe, we have a currency pipe, and you might have guessed it already. We'll be using currency pipe today because we are showing a lot of currencies. We are showing a lot of numbers that should actually be currencies. So let's go here. It has already been recompiled, and it should show the desired result. It shows Bitcoin with its market cap, Ethereum with its market cap, USDT with its Tether with its market cap, and on the right hand side we have the prices. It's all looking good, But as I said, I need pipes. I need to display the dollar value. So what I'll do is, as you can see right now, we have no commas, we have no dollar value, and the decimal value is just too long. For example, the Bitcoin value is 35,910.11041246. Now, this is not really relevant information, right? So let's just use Angular's version of pipe, and we'll be using the currency pipe today. If I refresh now, you should see the difference in a couple of seconds. Okay, there you go. So it's still refreshing, but in the end, you see I have dollar, then I have 35,900, and my decimal is also rounded off to two places. And I can control this. If I don't want to show any decimal, I can control that as well. But I think this is fine. This doesn't look so bad. But market cap is still not formatted and looks pretty bad. So what I'll do the same thing with the market cap. Now it should be fine. Now the next thing and the final thing that we have to do today is converting our simple list into these colors. Now, obviously, it's your project. You might not use green and red backgrounds. You might just change the color of your text. But just to show you how we can do this, I'll actually be using backgrounds with my example. Now, my market cap and my price, everything is perfect. Now the only thing that's left is using the right background color. So for that, what I'll do is I'll use a class. Now, but this class is conditional, right? I want red background color when I have been in profit, and I want green background color when there's a loss, right? So it's not that straightforward. I can't just add a class, because if I add a class and I say BG red or BG danger, because I'm using Bootstrap 5, and if you don't know about Bootstrap 5 or you want to know how to install that, go to week 2 where we install Bootstrap 5 and start using it. So basically, if my background is all danger or red, I just see that, and there's no difference. I'm not using anything. This is not conditional. I'm just displaying a red background color, which looks hideous. I want it to be based on colors, right? I want it to be based on their value, if it's a profit or a loss. So for that, it should be pretty simple. I'll use conditional classes. So basically, if my profit is greater than 0, if my percent change is greater than 0, which means it was a profit, I want to use green, otherwise I want to use red. So I'll use this class dot bg red, and when I'll be using a red background, only when my crypto dot percent change is less than 0, right? I'll also share this in the chat so that it's clear. There you go. You should be able to see that in the chat below. What I'm basically doing here is I'm saying I should use my class BG red whenever my price is whenever my percent change is less than 0. And let's just do the next thing as well. I will say that I want a BG success, which is for green, when my price is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, this looks pretty good. Once it compiles successfully and it generates all my bundles of the browser, I'll go here and I'll refresh, and let's see if it makes any difference. Okay, so it looks like for the profits, I'm getting the green color, but maybe I'm not getting the red one. And why is that? I'm saying I want BG. Okay, I was using BG red. It is BG danger actually, not BG red. Red is the color and danger is the class name. Let's refresh that again. Should be good now. Once it recompiles, you will see that some of them are red and some of them are green. Now the text is not really readable. So what I'll do is I'll also add another class, which will basically say, now this is not a conditional class. I want my text color to be white, whether I'm in profit or loss. So I'll just simply add text white. Now, as you know, I'm using Bootstrap classes, and again, I said you should go to video 1 and 2 to learn more about that. But once it refreshes, I should have all my crypto prices in white. All my text should be in white, and the background should be green or red based on my profit or loss. Now, just so you know how dynamic this is, what I'll do is I'll just change the value of one of my a few cryptocurrencies, and you'll see how easy it is and how dynamic it is, and you won't really have to lift a finger. So I'll convert this into a profit, my Polka.coin. I'll also convert my Dogecoin into profit, and I'll say Dogecoin is 1,000%, 100% profit because Dogecoin to the moon. So let's refresh. Let's wait for it to refresh. Actually, Angular refreshes everything automatically. And you see, we have green colors. We have more green now because I just changed in my service, the market change, the percent change in the last 24 hours. And you can see Dogecoin, Binance, and Bitcoin now are all green. So it's really dynamic. I'm using dynamic data. I'm using Angular material lists. I'm using pipes to convert regular numbers to actual currencies because, as I said, pipes basically take something in, convert it into something, transforms it, and gives us a beautiful result in the end, which you can see over here. So there are a lot of things that we did. And I hope you learned a lot in this video. And if you did, don't forget to hit the like button before you leave. And also let me know if you have any questions since the last 2 weeks, or if you have any questions for this week, you can ask right now, or you can do it on your own and ask it in the next week. Also, I already shared with you that I have the link in the description below for the GitHub page for this project, so you can refer the code easily without any problems. And if you have any issues or any code problems, I would say read the documentation, ask the question on Stack Overflow, or ask the question to me on the next Sunday live stream for this course. And you can also refer the GitHub code. Just if you made a typo, you can refer that, and maybe you will fix your bug yourself. So all the best for your Angular journey. I hope you were learning a lot today, and I hope you will build an amazing project with me by the end of this course. And until next time, bye.